Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing the second part of the island review series, and this time we're having a look at Wolin, the Wolin port and all the other ports at Wolin. So let's get started with Wolin's services. Wolin has a lot of services, so it might take a while to get through this part of the video, but I'll still list them all anyway, so here they are. Starting up north and working our way down, we have the hoverport, LNG terminal,
and oil,
bulk terminal, and this cool little lighthouse that shines at night and when it's foggy. There's also a refuel point next to the first ferry terminal, and also these things which, yeah, they don't do anything. Next up, moving a little further down, we have 4 ferry ports. There's one here, 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 and here. Next to one of these ferry ports is the only railroad terminal in Wolin. Next, moving down to the bottom of the main port, we have a charter point, a container terminal, a shipyard, and a general terminal. And finally, moving to the very bottom of the island, we have 2 more ferry terminals, as if there wasn't enough already. Next up, we'll take a look at the smaller ports on the island of Wolin. First, we'll take a look at Pundy. Pundy is a very small port on the west side of Wolin, comprised of 2 areas, Pundy A and B. Neither of them really have much to offer, as B only has a small hangar, some houses, and a refuel point. Pundy A isn't as desolate, as it features a few buildings such as houses, factories, hangars, and also a general terminal. There's also an airport with a really nice view of Rudin, Santa Cruz, and Ushuaia in the distance, and there's also a really nice view of the main port of Wolin here too. Pundy A is also where the V2 rocket can be found, but we'll talk more about that later. Now let's move on to the next small port in Wolin, Jnov. I think I pronounced it right this time. Jnov is a very small port village on the north coast of Wolin. It has a few things for small vessels like a fishing point, a charter point, and a refuel point. It also has this really cool drawbridge that actually works after you give it a certain amount of time. I think it's the only one in the entire game actually, which makes it even better. Before we move on to the next part, I have some honourable mentions to share with you today. First off, we have this Ace class who seems to be struggling to turn around. Then we have this jetty with a very important sign somewhere on it. And then there's this cool little tower near one of the terminals that I found. And that's it for the honourable mentions. So next, let's move on to some history about the island, some secrets, and some more minor details that you might have missed. Wolin looks very different now than it did back in beta, as shown by this image here. Sadly, it was the only one I could find, but there are still some similarities to how it was then. Shown here is the revamped version versus the pre-revamped version. As you can see, it is much bigger and has had a revamp to the canal and the island as a whole. Back then, Wolin was the only port on the island of Wolin, and now there's more than one with Pundy and Jnov.
The actual rocket launches here. Jack probably told you that it's over in that little town in the south, but no, we're actually just west of the port's exit at the north. Here is where you'll find your rocket launch on Sundays, I believe. The rocket actually spawns here. This is just a fake. The reason I know that, you can spawn boats in it when it appears. Take that information as you wish. If you want to go to the Wolin bunker, you'll have to go just about here, just south of... what's the name of that Polish town again? That'll do. Now you may think, maybe it's the bunker in one of these 2 buildings. Nuh-uh. You see this right here? You gotta get in here. Now the first pain is that you've got to get through the door, which you kind of have to squeeze your character in. There you go. And now, Jack, if you could please teleport to me. The Wolin bunker is a little dev secret hidden in the far east of Wolin. If you can teleport through here enough times, you'll get the guardsman title. If you follow me, Jack, please. By doing that, you'd have to go through here, and then, well, you go through this door about 5 times, and then there's a game Easter egg secret of which I'll send Jack the screenshot of, because I know I've got it somewhere. Around here, it's sort of like a secret military base. It's pretty cool to explore. I'd suggest trying it. There's a bunch of little secrets you can find, and of course, it's just worth it for the title. That's about it, really. This shipwreck is the most annoying to get to. It's just south of that Polish place, which Jack knows how to pronounce, but I don't. You can see here, it's an Air Rhodesia crash. Now, this plane is a Convair 990. Does that mean that there's some real-life lore of DSS? This shipwreck is a Lublin-class destroyer known as the WS Endeavour. We can presume that this was sunk at some type of wartime. It's got a lot of tanks around the wreckage. Overall, it's a pretty cool wreckage, especially used out of a rather outdated ship. Pretty good use of the tanks around here. This shipwreck here is the Herbert Grumpelstein. I love that name. It's a victory ship within the port of Wolin, not too far from the Lenin statue, which is just behind us. It's still in the game. You can check afterwards. Now, this shipwreck is quite special because it's the only one that's actually been noticed and surrounded by warnings for the explosives on the boat. Don't worry, if you go to it, you won't explode, as far as I know. This is a statue of Lenin. That's about all you really need to know. It's not too far off of the victory ship. This is the USS Monitor. This was actually a real-life boat which was sunk in 18 American due to a storm. The wreckage was discovered on the 27th of August in 1973 and salvaged. You can find this wreckage if you're doing the first... What's the name of the little event with the little boat? I don't know. You can, if you're on an event, you might accidentally stumble upon this. It's just along the little shallow lake, not too far from the Foxtrot class submarine wreck we'll go and have a look at. This is a Foxtrot class submarine. Fun fact, I believe this is one of the only shipwrecks we see completely on the land in India. There's not much to it. It's a Foxtrot class, which the local town just over here have made into a radio tower. If you want all the locations of these shipwrecks, here's the map for you. You're welcome.
And with that, that's everything Wolin. Thanks to Joshua and 567 for commentary on the shipwrecks and the Wolin bunker. Hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you found out something new about your favourite little canal island. That's everything from me. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.